Hello, Catherine. Hello, Yin Yin. And hello.
Malcolm, I'm gonna watch the class but not participate tonight.
That's okay. How are you doing?
I'm okay. I'm not tip top, but it's okay. It's not that bad.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Oh, well, good luck. Okay, you can see I've got some of my tape on here. This is from the earlier class where we were talking about the DAIMAI and movement in the three dimensions of space, which would be level. Now, motion in Tai Chi and Qigong and with the human body is always circular. And this is one of the main reasons. This is how we're built. We're built to circle. I'm going to open up the curtains and we're going to take a quick look at, not as long as in the last session, but we'll take a quick look at the DAIMAI according to this kind of idealized diagram. Okay, so if you remember last time, we talked about the Earth or yourself as a circle with a column up and down in the body from the Hui Yin to the Ba Wei. On the Earth, it's from the South Pole to the North Pole, and then the center of the Earth corresponding to the Daimai in the human body. I have to move my Daimai, it's not quite in the right place. All right. Okay, so what we're adding to that is on the Earth side, you would call it the equator. All right. On the human side, it's called the Daimai, and it goes all the way around the waist, all 360 degrees. Now, in the diagram here, it's described by a very thin line, but it is not a thin line. It's not even a thin line like this. It's actually a very thick line. So it goes all the way around the body. You can think from top to bottom, but certainly from the pelvic diaphragm to the thoracic diaphragm. So it's like a big cummerbund that goes all the way around, right? And by spinning with your mind, spinning your energy around that circle, that's how you get motion to the left or to the right. Okay, I'm going to close this up again. Now, some of the motion with the daimai is very large. So a motion like this is pretty big, right? You're going a good 90 degrees turning. Some of it is very subtle, but it's all daimai motion. The reason it's sometimes very strong, sometimes very subtle, is because the three motions in space, front to back, side to side, and level, you are always moving in all three dimensions. So it's not black or white, I'm always this or I'm always this. It's always a combination and a set of relationships. So a movement might be 60% Li, front to back, and 30% Shu, side to side, and 10% Ping. Or it could be 90% Ping, 5% Shu, and 5% Li. But it's something. And that's an important clue for learning Tai Chi and Qigong. because as you become more sophisticated students, you should be able to watch someone, if they're doing something you like, and you wanna discover, well, what exactly is he doing? That is a lens you can look through to discover what the practitioner is doing. How much of what he is doing is ping? How much is li? How much is shu? And it doesn't solve the problem, but it'll move you a long way in doing it. So as far as more extreme ping motions, many of the exercises we do are totally ping, and you can join in on this exercise, all right? So I'm just going to do, yeah, Annie's joining us. The grindstone. And you notice when I'm doing this, the real exercise is with the body. It's not what your hands are doing, it's what your body is doing. So you're shifting your weight, and that of course will engage the waist. You can see the waist, begin to turn. And then that motion is expressed in the hands. And reverse. Now, it should be pretty obvious here. In order to do this kind of motion and engage your DAIMAI, you need to be in a horse stance. You need to have your pelvis open, right? Because if your pelvis is closed, what happens is you draw your hips and your legs in and up. And now, how do I engage all this stuff when this is all sort of locked up? Instead, you need to relax it and open it up and open the quad. And now I can actually use this lower part of my abdomen. And reverse. So you could say that 70% of this motion is caused just by shifting your weight. And a good 25% by moving around your waist, all 360 degrees, all right? All the way around. And only about 5% is in your hands. Okay, that's a big ping motion. But very often, ping motions are much more subtle. So the very beginning of the form is mostly li motion, particularly the first 3 circles, 4 circles. Is mostly li, mostly front to back. But watch me do it and watch the white here. It's so subtle you can hardly see it. But in fact, there's a little ping motion in each of those 4 circles. It's brought on by 2 factors. One, you are shifting your weight when you're doing this. You don't stand 50-50. You come up on the right, you go down on the left. You come up on the right, you go down on the left. And up on the right, down on the left. Down on the left, up on the right, down on the left. So there's a subtle shifting of weight, and that will begin your waist turn. You don't even have to really think about it, it just starts to happen. Now, you don't have to think about it, but if you want to practice, you should think about it. Right? You'd be aware of that. And so forth. And you might be asking yourself, at least I would be asking if I were you, my God, you got to think about all this stuff. You got to think about this and that and that and this and this and that and all this stuff, right? No, you don't think about any of it. What you do is you practice it in certain classes. And you don't always practice everything all at once. Pick one thing. If you're going to practice that day, I know that all of you practice about an hour a day at home, don't you? Right? When you practice, pick something that day to practice, which means to be aware of it. Right? So maybe today you're going to do the form for 15 minutes. Practice being aware of the DAIMAI. Right? Or some other thing. It doesn't matter what it is. Just pick something and practice it for a while. Right? Watch. Just be aware of it. When you're aware of it, you will exaggerate it.
If you pay attention, you will give it energy.
Yes, thank you. What Annie said is absolutely true. If you pay attention to something, you are giving it energy.
That's what the word pay means.
That's not a metaphor, that's literally true. Your consciousness is a form of energy. When you are paying attention to, say, your DAIMAI or your Qua or the bottom of your feet, you are giving energy to that place. And by giving energy to it, it becomes more conscious. Right? Once you've kind of woken it up out of its long slumber, and you begin to practice with it, then you can move on to other things. And it will still be awake. Now, you may have to come back in some future time and
dump it in the third eye.
give it a little prod to wake up again. It may have fallen asleep. But this is the basis of practice, is waking something up in the field of potential in your body, waking something up and then invigorating it. All right? So pick something, practice it that day, maybe practice it for 2 weeks. And you'll know you can forget about it when you do forget about it. You will just naturally forget about it at a certain point, and it will be there. It will be awake. How many of you ride a bike? I'm inspired to ask about bikes because of the poster behind Catherine at her place. Right? There's a bike on the ground there. Do you remember when someone taught you to ride a two-wheel bike? Right? I can remember my dad pushing the bike, running along behind me. Right?
It was quite traumatic.
It's very dramatic because you are definitely going to take some spills. Right? You're going to fall. You're not going to do it. But at a certain point, all of a sudden, you catch on. You realize, oh, I've got to pedal faster. I've got to pedal. I've got to do something. and you just, it just comes to you what it is. And after that is completely different from life before that. And you know the old saying, I don't know if they have this saying in French, Catherine, but in English, you can't forget how to ride a bike. Once you know, right? It's the same with Tai Chi practice. At first, it's kind of clunky, right? But you just practice for a few weeks, and then you will get it. And once you get it, you don't have to think about it anymore. Just like riding a bike, right? Okay, let's go back to the form. And I believe we've got the first three movements down. We might need to pay some attention to the third move a little bit. But let's do the first three moves. And as you do this, just be aware of your waist, of the ring around your waist. Is that as far as, I think that's as far as we went.
I think that's
last time. Watch this white thing. It's not done with the arms, it's done with this. And then you just snap it. Snap. So how do you do the snap? The snap is just an acceleration of the underlying motion. The underlying motion is shift your weight, turn your waist. That's creating this motion. Should go both hands. But this hand could go backwards. And then this part, so there's the whole body is spiraling. From the bottom of the foot to the tip of my fingers. It's a single spiral. All I have to do as the spiral comes up through my body is accelerate it. It's going slow, 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 faster, 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 faster. Right? If you think of a whip, okay. You You think of a whip. That's all it does. Do it very softly. Or you can snap it.
It's snowing.
Is it snowing? It's snowing at our house, right? Okay, so it's very simple.
Yeah, snowing. I don't think it's gonna stick.
Now, you can actually increase the power of this side by engaging this side. Because for every action, there must be an equal and opposite reaction. So if you do them both together, you're just snapping a towel in each direction, and it'll actually be a stronger snap. So it doesn't look like much, but this is the powerhouse. There is an old saying in Chinese, in the martial arts. I'll do the English version of it. Your power is generated in the legs. It's commanded by the waist. It's expressed in the hands. So the movement of the legs generates your power right out of the earth. When you go down, there is a force in the earth that comes up. That's the force you use to do this snap. It's called the ground reaction force. That's not Tai Chi theory, that's just straight physics. Right? Into the ground pushes back. So you can grab that energy, you're going down, the energy's coming up, grab that energy and pop it out. So your power is generated by the legs. It's commanded by the waist. So this was a military metaphor. Your waist is like the general that tells the troops, you go in this direction here, or you go in that direction there, all right? It's commanded. Your waist is commanding the direction. And then it's expressed in the hands, all right? In a lot of Western athletics, at least at the beginning, that sequence is kind of ignored. And people naively pay too much attention to the hands. But the hands are just the last thing in the chain. The first thing is your feet, and then your legs, and then your waist, and then your inner pull, and only then your hands. All right, let's do the form again. Keep your feet and legs in mind. Okay, Yen Yen, why don't you lead us in the first three moves? Keep going. Keep going. One more move. Good. Okay, and James. Jim, say something so the camera goes on you.
Hello.
Okay. So, you know, in these classes for the rest of this term, we're going to be spending a lot of time talking about these basic principles, which we absolutely need to do this correctly. However, the downside of that is you don't get enough practice time. And the truth is, the only way to truly internalize this is to practice it. So back a long time ago when I was learning from Master Zhang, I used to practice about 2 hours every morning, and I did that for 12 years. Someday I'll tell you the story, but you have to practice. So you should do 20, 30 minutes of practice every day. And I'll tell you why. In fact, I'm going to show you here. This is true for everybody. This was true for me. It was true for Master Zhang. It's true for everybody. When you first start Tai Chi, your movements and your energy body is going to look like this. All right, this is a piece of rock from San Francisco, all right, from Golden Gate Park actually, right? And this is the rock that San Francisco is built on. It's a perfectly good piece of rock. There's nothing wrong with it, but you can see it's got a lot of sharp edges and et cetera, et cetera. But if this is your energy body, it means you're going to have a lot of glitches and sharp edges in your movement. And the only way to smooth all that stuff out is to put it in a rock tumbler and tumble it for a week or two, all right? Until it gets very smooth. This is also a rock. This is a little agate from up in the Sierras, and it's been put in a rock tumbler and tumbled till it's very smooth. This is what you want your energy body to look like. The only way to get from here to here is to tumble it. Practice, 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 practice. Practice until it comes out your ears. All right. Okay, we've got just a couple of minutes left, but let's talk about that third movement, because I'm not sure everybody has done that. So tomorrow we'll focus on that third movement, but we'll just do just a little bit today. This is one of the few movements in the form where you don't actually move on the ground. All right? Your feet are pretty much in the same place the whole time. Except right at the end there. All right? So we'll spend some time looking at that tomorrow. What it is a catch, pull back, wind up, push, yield, return, grab, throw. Brush the chest, swivel the hips, hold the ball, push through. All right, so we'll spend probably the whole hour just working on that one move tomorrow, right? Jim, have you done that move before?
Probably about 10 times.
Okay, well, we'll do it. We'll do it another 90 times tomorrow.
It's been 5 years, Malcolm.
Oh my God! Wow. So we'll spend some time on that tomorrow and make sure everybody's got that move. We're moving through the form very slowly. We're going to do that for the first section, the first 6 moves, to go in depth. After that, we'll speed things up quite a bit, because hopefully you will have gained at least a nodding acquaintance with the basic fundamentals of theory here, and then we'll put it into practice. But I'm hoping these first 6 moves, you can really up your game on these first 6 moves and get a real idea about what's going on, so that you can use that in the future to educate yourself, so to speak. Okay, guys, if you're going to stay for the advanced class, give me 15 minutes. Otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow morning. Ciao.